Hello, dear friends. This is finally the fifth Sunday of Lent, the last one before the Palm Sunday and the Holy Week in the Church's liturgical year. I'd like to invite myself and you to think this particular Sunday, what is this particular thing which we should ask for, pray for to God for our well and good preparation for Triduum Sacrum and for the Easter time. The Gospel which we are reading today on the fifth Sunday of Lent in the Church is very particular because it's the only one of three moments in all the Gospels when we hear that God speaks directly, God the Father speaks directly about His Son, Jesus Christ, from heaven. It's like a miracle, I suppose, for people who are experiencing it personally themselves. The first moment, the first time God speaks directly is during the baptism. I'm sure you remember when John the Baptist, just after baptizing Jesus in the Jordan River, and all of the people gathering around them can hear this voice coming like from above, saying, "This is my beloved Son, listen to him." The second time, and we've heard that during Sunday liturgy a couple of weeks ago, is the story about the transfiguration of Jesus on the Mount Tabor, when Jesus, together with his most trusted disciples, climbs up the mountain, and there he is transfigured. He shows not only his humanity but also his divinity. And again, for the second time in Jesus's ministry, the people can hear personally this voice coming from above again with the same very words marking Jesus' mission. "This is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased, listen to him." And here we are today when we read the Gospel of John chapter 12, which precedes the last days of Jesus' suffering and preparation for his suffering and death on the cross eventually. We hear that some of the Greeks, some of the pagans, if you like, to put it in an old-fashioned way, approach Jesus through his disciples, and instead of communicating to them and speaking directly to them, Jesus is taken on the side by the disciples, and he talks to them and the people around him, explaining that the hour of his mission is almost accomplished, has almost come, and he gives this tremendous yet very secret teaching about the grain, which unless a wheat grain won't fall down in the ground and die there, cannot bring the new life. And so Jesus also says in today's Gospel in John chapter 12 that my soul is troubled, because he almost physically can experience and feel the fear which come across when the Passion approaches as well. And then Jesus, in his dialogue, in his prayer, says, "What shall I say? Save me from this hour?" Almost like directing those words of prayer to God the Father in heaven. And to that particular one, he answers to himself, "No, but I want to glorify the Father's name." And for that precisely statement of Jesus, for the glorification of the Father's name I came, and my mission is for, this voice can be heard for the third time in the Gospels, all right? This voice which this time says, "I have glorified it, and I will glorify it again. I have glorified it, and I will glorify it again." And it is precisely that troubling that challenging, because these words are very mysterious. What does it mean that the Father actually says, I have glorified my own name and I will glorify it again? Of course, that is the message not only to the Jews, to the people faithful to the law of God, worshipping the only God, but also to the Greeks about whom we hear in today's gospel. We hear that among those people who are searching for Jesus were not only the Israelites listening faithfully to God's commands, but also some of the Greeks, pagans, who were searching for the truth. We know that even in those times preceding Jesus Christ, the times of Socrates, the times of Plato, the great philosophers of the antiquity, they were already looking for the answer, for this longing for the salvation and for knowing the ultimate truth, who is the creator of everything. We know that those great philosophers they resigned from worshipping the multiple idols and pagan gods to arrive to that statement that there is only one God. And so we see today in the gospel that also some representative of that group who was searching for the truth is arriving to meet and to hear what Jesus, who claims to be the Son of God, is about to say. And especially in this situation of those Greeks searching for the truth, this voice, once again, for the third time after baptism, transfiguration, now can be heard. It doesn't speak anymore about, this is my beloved Son, listen to him. This is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased. But it's more troubling, it's more questioning. This time it arrives to that very core of Jesus' mission, who asks himself in today's gospel, in today's reading, should I run away from this very purpose you've brought me to this world? But no, I shall glorify the Father's name. It stays with me in these days of final time of Lenten preparation for Easter, that I wonder, what should I actually ask God for in my prayer? What should I ask for during all of those Holy Week celebrations, beginning next Sunday from the Palm Sunday, throughout all of those 7 days, with this great emphasis on this climax of our faith, Holy Thursday, Good Friday and Holy Saturday? I think that it is precisely this one, to understand what is it God wants me in this world for. We can very clearly see that in Jesus, who is, even though experiencing a difficulty with accepting that it is through suffering which God wants to bring the salvation to the world, but yet he is the one who is giving that commandment, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven, teaching us in the same way to put God's will first above my own. That comes directly from trust, from love, because we wouldn't do something which God demands from us unless we truly trust that he loves us, and therefore we can love him as well. That's finally what today's first reading from the prophet Jeremiah is really about. The prophet from the Old Testament, centuries before Jesus was even born, speaks about the new, ultimate and final covenant of love, based not on human understanding, but on the basis of loving heart. That's what God wants from us ultimately. The loving heart which trusts that God wants our good, our well-being. I wish that for you and for myself, that it is the loving heart, a trustful heart in my life towards God, the Creator, which will be my personal intention for all of us these coming days ahead.